Happiness. We're into week 5 of the month, and therefore I'm talking about miscellaneous things. And over the course of the next 5 days, I'm going to talk about 5 different emotions that we may have felt we want to experience more or less of. And we'll look at a number of approaches, ways to perhaps change the way we do things or the way we see them that may enable us to do more of that. And in today's video, I'm talking about happiness. Because whenever I ask people what emotion they wish they experience more often, happiness nearly always comes out first. And it's something that I think as a society we feel we're missing, we've not got enough of. Many people express that they wish they were happy more often or that they were happier. And I completely get that. I get that happiness in very much feels like something to aim for. But there's a few considerations to be made. Firstly, all emotions have their place. There's the yin and the yang of opposite emotions. Without sadness, there is no happiness. Without sadness, there is no joy, and so on. So realistically, we're never going to be happy all the time. And secondly, from my experience, what often makes us struggle to be happy is not necessarily the conditions of our life and our experience, but how they compare to our expectations. It's reality versus expectation. It's how our life measures up compared to our blueprint, our expectation of what it may look like. And often we've never really fully realized, verbalized, decided on that blueprint, that expectation. We just have it somewhat half thought out in our head. And when reality doesn't match it, it leads to frustration, annoyance, resentment, a lack of happiness. So the first thing perhaps we can do is get clear on what is our expectation. And when we do get clear on that, of our expectation of our life, our interactions with others, other people's behaviours, how the world should be, we often realise one of two things, or possibly both, have happened. Firstly, that expectation is often unrealistic. The things that cause us frustration and annoyance and take away from our potential for happiness, we're never going to happen. Certain things are just the way they are. We might like it if they were different. We might like it if politicians told the truth, if we didn't have to pay tax. We might like it if people didn't die. But they are just things that unfortunately happen. And acceptance of those things is powerful. Doesn't mean we have to be okay with them, but we can accept that they just are what they are. And then often we realise as well that even if our expectation of a situation is perhaps realistic, we've never got other people's buy-in, we've never made arrangements for those things to happen. I know from my own experience that I sometimes get annoyed at people for not doing what I expect they should do, but at no point have I fully verbalised to them that is my expectation of the situation, nor got their agreement to do that. And therefore I'm just setting myself up for frustration, annoyance, irritation, a lack of happiness. So we can potentially get their buy-in, talk to those people, explain to them our expectations, why it's important to us. And if they care about us, chances are they may do that thing. If they don't, again, maybe we need a degree of acceptance. There is a famous prayer I've mentioned many times where it says, God grant me the courage to change what I can, the serenity to accept what I can't, and the wisdom to know the difference. Some things in life just are the way they are. Some things we can change. Let's work on the things we can change, and let's get people's buy-in to that. Let's verbalize it. Let's make it so that our expectations aren't just setting us up for disappointment. Let's make it so our blueprint isn't so far removed from reality that it causes that frustration, disappointment, resentment, etc. And then to some degree, happiness will flourish. When our blueprint matches our reality, or is at least close enough, when our expectations are generally met, then we're way more likely to be happy.